Hi one and all. So in the last class we started learning how we can able to build the application with the help of plugins and extensions, right? Make it simple. These plugins and extensions can be treated as add-ons, or make it simple, still simpler, libraries which can be used by the RPA developer to develop the applications, so that the application can able to build very easily and quickly and with better quality too, right? So this is what you need to understand at a high level for taming the application with plugins and extensions means, right? And along with this understanding, we learned one of the important plugin called terminal plugin, right? And we touched upon a little bit about SAP automation, right? The today's class objective is we shall learn a few more details about SAP automation, and then we shall cover one more interesting plugin called Java plugin, right? So once again I will repeat, today's class objective is, so we shall again learn SAP automation, and then we shall cover one more important plugin called Java plugin, right? So before that we shall just have a recall for terminal plugin. So as I said in the last class, usually when you can go for terminal plugin, when you want to extract the data automatically from various terminals, example like mainframes, or if you want to run the process on mainframes, then you can go for terminal plugin, right? And we learned that it will work faster than compared to graphical user interface, and usually the interaction will be with a black window, right? So this is the interface that the RPA developer uses for when they are using terminal plugin, right? And we covered what are these field properties, and this is the active area, and these are the controls, etc., and so on, right? Correct. And one more basic thing that we need to understand before using terminal plugin is you need to make sure that whether the terminal plugin is already installed in your UiPath Studio, right? So how to check this? Just use a keyword called terminal in the activities panel, and if you get the related activities of the terminal, then you can say that it is already installed. Or if you did not find any activities under terminal, then you can say that it has not been installed, right? The another way is just go to the package manager, and there will be a search filter, and here you type terminal in the search filter, and if you can see like this uninstall, right, then you can say that it is already been installed. Otherwise you, instead of this you will have an keyword called install, right? Correct. So this is what we understood in the last class itself, right? And we learned about SAP automation at a high level, right? Okay. And make it simple, the bottom line here it is, see, nowadays industries or organization requires an up-to-date information or current information. They have to use current information about what? Technology or the business, etc., and so on. This is one important fuel for industries or organization. They have to use the current technologies or they have to know the current business. And along with this, there is one more important fuel for industries or organization is they have to, or they need more accurate data, or complete data. If you find difficult to understand accurate data, make it simple, they need complete data. They don't need error prone data or missing data or unfilled or partially filled data. Hence we said that in the last class, so usually those data will be discarded by the industries or organization because of this. And hence what actually SAP people did, they come up with an application called SAP itself, so which usually used by the IT people in order to get rid of this problem, right? Okay. And nowadays SAP applications are used by human beings, and with the development of RPA technology or UiPath Studio, the RPA developer can use the plugin SAP plugin, okay, in UiPath Studio, and then RPA developer can build robots which will work on behalf of human beings, and hence thereby achieving complete automation. This is what the story here. Clear? Okay. And the advantages, almost you are already have aware of what is the benefit that the industry people will get if they build the robots, right? Almost the benefits is same, and we already have covered this in the last class, right? And we shall move forward. And the author is telling that SAP, in order to automate SAP applications or make it simple, SAP automation requires some steps that RPA developers should follow carefully, it seems, when developing the robots or while automating. Clear? Okay. Remember, these steps are not only used by the RPA developer to develop or to automate SAP automation. They have to follow these steps whenever they want to develop the robots. Okay, and don't think that it is only for automating the SAP automation. It is also holds good for automating other tasks too, right? Okay, there are some situations when the click activity fails, it seems. The main what the robot has to do here, basically robot has to understand what is the target element, right? Target UI element. UI element means it can be an application, or it can be a text box, or it can be a password field, or it can be a button, etc. and so on. Clear? So this is the main job of the robot, but correct. So first it has to understand what is the target element. It has to focus. Clear? Obviously, if the click activity fails to recognize the the target UI element, obviously you have to look for the alternative, like go for click text activity or click image activity are used generally when click activity does not work. This is what the one of the basic steps that they have to follow. They have to here means the RPA developer have to follow. Obviously it is true, right? If the RPA developer can't able to focus the target UI element, means that particular activity is not working. Obviously they have to look for the alternative activities. That's what the author is telling here. Clear? Okay, with this we shall follow other steps. See, there are some scenarios, it seems, when we have to extract tabular data from SAP applications. It means sometimes the SAP applications will provide the data in the form of a table, it seems, like this, rows and columns like this. Clear? And in this case, the robots has to iterate all the rows, it seems, one by one, in order to check whether or in order to extract particular column or two columns, etc. and so on, like this. So in order to do that, obviously you have to use selectors. This is what the guideline they are telling that. So use selector to recognize the table particular cell value. Clear? And you can implement loop, it seems, to iterate through each table cell. That's what I said, row by row. So how usually it will be done is, this is how. See, when your loop should stop iterating, see, this is what you will do. You will create a loop, okay, and you will, inside the loop, you will say that it has to fetch every row at a time. And obviously when it reaches the end, it should the looping process should be stopped, right? So how usually RPA developer will do that? That's what the author is telling here. So you have to use try catch activity, it seems. This is exception handling. I will come to this in depth in the coming classes. For the time being, understand, okay, whenever you want to iterate through all the rows present in a table, then better use try catch activity in order to carry out this task. Okay, because when it reaches the end of the table, an exception will occur, and that will be caught by the catch block, it seems. Don't worry about caught, catch, try. Okay, anyhow you have an idea about this. I think in Java, even if you don't have an idea about try, catch, and what is this caught means, don't worry, we shall see in the coming classes. Clear? So in this way you will be able to iterate through all the table cells, it seems. Clear? The bottom line is very simple. So whether the robot is doing what actually it's supposed to do, and see that. If it is doing that, then no problem. If it is not doing the task properly, then obviously you have to what you have to do, you have to code it once again so that it will do the task properly. How to code it? Choose the proper selectors or proper activities. That's what the author is telling. Clear? That's what I said. This guidelines does not applicable only for automating SAP automation. It can be used to automate any particular applications for that matter. Clear? Clear? So with this, okay, and there are few more guidelines. So the author has tell, well, while interacting with checkboxes and radio buttons, you have to make use of get attribute activity, it seems. For what? To check whether they are checked or not. Okay, and similarly when dealing with LECU, UI element, or not, what I can say, abstract UI element, for example a small button to the right of some text. Okay, you have to think in terms of human actions. Obviously it is true, right? Correct, no? Because the robot has to mimic the actions performed by human being. That's what the author is telling, that if you are dealing with abstract UI element where you can't find a proper selector, then you see how the human will perform the actions with respect to that UI element, and then based on that you mimic the actions or copy the actions. Clear? That's what the author is telling. Clear? So the guidelines, these are the few guidelines that you have to follow when you are automating not only SAP application, as I said, for automating any particular applications for that matter. Clear? Okay, and this is an addition knowledge for you. See how SAP automation affects data entry job systems. Obviously it is true. See here, data entry is actually a complex task for human being or for employees. So they have to work in a smart manner during the entire process, and constantly they have to check for the errors. Obviously it is an hectic task, right? Correct, no? That's what it is telling, that it is a data entry task is a complex or a hectic task for an employee or for a human being generally. Clear? There are some tasks, it seems, that employees or humans has to do, such as scanning form for some information or extracting it. They can categorize the documents properly like this. Okay, I will give a simple example for this. Let us assume that there is a Excel file here, and there are thousand rows here. Okay, from starting from 1 to etc and so on, 1000 rows, and there are columns here. Okay, there are columns here, something like a name, gender, age, okay, then address, okay, and Aadhaar number, something, etc and so on. Okay, now the people, industry people, or make it simple, the requirement is they need to know or they have to extract only the gender and the ages. Okay, then this task can be performed very easily by the human being, right? Compared to the system. That's what he is telling. Task like this. Example, as I said here. So we have a data here, and out of that data we need to extract a subsets based on the requirement. Obviously that task can't be done by the computers or system because they are not much intelligent. Clear? And usually those tasks will be done by the human beings. But remember, these tasks are not simple, they are hectic tasks. That's what it is telling, they are telling. And since this kind of task performed by human being, there is a chances of introducing or making errors. Correct, no? That's what here it is. So what RPA people did, they understood the scenario, and then they take by understanding that scenario, they developed a technology called RPA, which actually take the benefits of automation and the benefit of mimicking human action, so that making the robots more robust, so that they will not fail, and the output given by the robot will be more accurate. And now you can use robots, or robots can be built so that it can able to scan the forms, copy the data or extract the data, or it can able to notice when any particular event has been issued. Clear? So this is also significantly reduce the errors, as I said. Okay, in addition to this process, UiPath uses methods or libraries to ignore unrelated information, it seems. This is also interesting. So automatically, if the RPA developer has used the appropriate libraries to ignore the unrelated information, then automatically unrelated information will be dropped. Okay. Now, so SAP software on the application only, so that's what, and it will give thereby it will give only priority to the important or required data. Clear? So it means that no matter how much your SAP application is difficult to handle, so obviously UiPath handles every action with easy. Clear? So it is very simple. That's what I said in the beginning. The bottom line is UiPath now it is in a position to automate SAP applications. clear. So and obviously it can scale with any application or any platform. Okay, and now we shall understand some of the examples where SAP automation or application is commonly used. Clear. So filling in a form for from any application. Okay, let us assume that an example for this is, let us take there is a data here in an Excel file. Okay, as I said, name, age, USN, etc. and so on, and there is a form here, registration form, where the student has to register. Okay, register by entering the name, USN and gender, and then finally they have to click the button here with a label called register. Now see here, I can assume that the data of the student is already present in Excel file, and that has to be entered over here one by one, so that the student management system database will be ready here. So so if you want to do this without RPA technology, it will be a hectic task, because manually you have to fetch the data one by one, row by row, and fill it here and click register. Clear. So with the help of RPA technology, you can build the robot in, so that the robot will extract one row and it will fill the corresponding values in the corresponding fields, and it will click register. This is one interesting example. And copying and pasting data between one application to another application, comparing the data fields so that to find duplicates, let us say, and updating the status of an entity in a system. Okay, entity means you can treat this one row as one entity, student entity, like this, and scrapping the data from an application or from any websites. Okay, these are the good interesting examples where you can use SAP automation with the help of UiPath Studio. So once again we shall recall why it is very easy, or why we are telling that you use UiPath to automate SAP application, because it is simple to use, and you can train the robot or build the robot by using visual programming interface. You already aware of this, and you can define workflows, especially for automatic complex tasks, right? And robots can run independently at lower cost. You already are aware of this, right? It is estimated that a software robot's work efficiency, obviously it is much better than employees, and people have already studied that it is approximately equal to 3 employees, it seems. Okay, this is also an interesting. And very last but not the least, another advantage is it saves lot of time and money, and hence people no need to waste the time in doing repetitive or hectic tasks. They can utilize that time for coming up with an innovative ideas. That's what the motto here it is. And UiPath Studio comes with built-in libraries and activities. Because of this, RPA developer can able to automate the applications very easily and quickly, right? And it means that it can copy and paste the entities from one application. Okay, that's what, once again, I don't want to waste the time by repeating the steps. So finally the author is telling that it increases productivity and efficiency of the application. So even we have already aware of this. Clear. Okay, with this we shall conclude the SAP automation, and then we shall move to one more plugin called Java plugin. Before this, I will tell you how to find whether SAP library is already present in UiPath Studio or not. So for that, go to the UiPath Studio, go to the activities panel, and just type SAP. Okay, if you find the activities related to SAP here, under SAP here, then you can say that this UiPath Studio has SAP libraries inside it. If you don't find this, then what is the procedure? Obviously you have to go to the manage package. Okay, there will be a filter here, type it here, and if you find like this, then you can say that it's already been installed. Otherwise you will get an option called install here. Exactly same way, like in case of terminal plugin. Okay, exactly in the same way we have to do this. Okay, now we shall with that understanding we shall move to one more interesting plugin called Java plugin. Okay, I think you can predict what is the use of Java plugin. Okay, so plugin is basically a component of the Java runtime environment, it seems. Runtime environment. See, you already are aware of JDK, okay, and JRE, it seems, because you already have learned Java, right? So JDK comes with a compiler, Okay, JRE comes with a runtime environment. Only if you have JRE, then only you can able to run the Java applications, right? But if you have a JDK, you can able to build applications, but you can't able to run the applications. Okay, so you need both. But here you don't need JDK, you need JRE. Okay, and Java plugin software is basically one of the component in JRE, it seems. Okay, component is nothing but you can treat this as a library. Okay, JRE allows applets, software programs written in Java. Applets, you already have a rough of applets, I think. Basically this is nothing but a Java program, Java code or a Java program which will run on a browser. Browser can be a Firefox or Chrome, etc. and so on. Okay, that's what the author is telling that. Okay, so why are we using the Java plugin with UiPath Studio? Why do we need Java plugin with UiPath Studio? This is an interesting question. So when you have to use the Java plugin is when your requirement is to automate a Java application. That's what I said, you can predict. Whenever you want to automate a Java application, then you have to go for Java plugin. Even without going for Java plugin, you can able to do that, but it will be an hectic task. I already told you the difference between using the plugin and without using the plugin, right? We cannot use pre-installed activities with Java application as it will not recognize them properly. It means let us assume that the applet is already running here, in the browser, let us say Firefox, and there is fields like this, name, enter name here, USN here, okay, and a button here to register. Okay, since this applet is a Java application, if you don't install the Java plugin, there will be activities, right? We already learned that element exist, element scope, click activity. See, these are all examples for already built-in activities, right? These activities can't able to recognize the UI elements present in the Java application, it seems. That's what the author is telling. So if you want to recognize the UI element in the Java application, then you have to go for a Java plugin. That's it. Okay, hence in order to use the activities with Java application, we have to install the Java plugin, right? How to install that, or how to check that whether it is already present? Okay, as usual, go to the activities panel and search for the keyword. Okay, search for the keyword like Java applications or Java plugin. Okay, if it is not found, go for extensions here, setup extensions here. Okay, once again, okay, go to the activities panel, or here what is they are telling that to install Java plugin inside your Path Studio, you have to go to the setup wizard. Okay, or you can check in the activities panel. If you don't find that Java related activities in the activities panel, then you have to go for setup wizard and clicks if you go to the setup wizard, you have to go with the setup extension, and then you have to choose the Java extension, and obviously you have to then you have to continue with that. Then finally once the Java plugin has been installed successfully, then it will get a successful message. Clear? So this is about Java plugin. In the next class I will show you practically how to do this, or how to install Java plugin in UiPath Studio. These are the steps that you need to follow in the older version of UiPath Studio. We shall see in the current version in the next class, and then we shall continue with another interesting concept which you already are aware, called Citrix automation. Clear? So with this I will conclude the session. In today's class, just we learned about SAP automation, right? About SAP automation and how to see the UiPath Studio, whether SAP plugin is already been installed in UiPath Studio or not. And then we learned about Java plugin, and we learned when to use Java plugin and how to configure the UiPath Studio with the Java plugin, right? Okay, practically I will explain you this the configuration in the next class, and then we shall continue with the next concepts. So with this I will conclude the session. So thank you one and all.